going to do the slap different and develop that sound different. Some people, they get it the first time they touch a conga. I'm reminded of a brother, shout out to Isabelino Landor, who is one of my teachers as well, that this man is been teaching in the community just as long as I have, and he has really big hands. So when he hits the slap, bah, it sounds like he's kung fu chopping the conga in half because he's got strong hands, whereas my hands are a little more dainty, smaller, and my slap probably is not as strong. So everyone's slap is going to be different, okay? And it takes time. Some people it might be a little bit faster. Some people it might be a little bit slower, but it is going to take some time. So the idea behind the slap, okay, is that you are going to be using the natural momentum of your wrist, okay, to strike the drum as close to the center of the drum as you can, okay? Now, this is the way I do the slap. Many other people will say it different. I suggest you go on YouTube, find other conga teachers, and ask hey, how do you do your slap? How do you do your slap? And find a technique that works for you as a conga player to produce that sound. This is what works for me, okay? So what I tend to do is I tend to cup my hand ever so slightly, not too much, okay? And I try my best to make sure that my hand is flat when I'm hitting the drum. I have another drum behind me to kind of show the camera a little bit. And this is going to be fun. So when you look at my hand, I'm curving my hand and allowing the hand to come down on both sides. This is okay, right? We have more camera angles over here. I don't know if this is better angle. See, I'm cupping my hand. Okay, let's get back over here. So in the same way that you clap your hands, right? When you clap your hands, you don't clap your hands where you put them together, but yet you kind of offset your hands a little bit, and then you're allowing that natural whip that comes from your hands going like your wrists flowing that way, okay? It's a very fluid motion. So again, another philosophy that you could think when you're doing the slap. When you throw a baseball, right? You don't lock your wrist, right? That looks goofy. Imagine if I was throwing a baseball and I just went like this and stopped right here. That would be kind of goofy. So what gives the baseball velocity, spin, right? The trajectory, how you're going to aim it, is when you whip your wrist. So that same concept of playing the slap is going to have that natural whip that your wrist is going to create, okay? So when you're playing the slap, you should go up and your hand should come down. I'm going to move this microphone just a little bit. Hopefully you can still hear me. And this is how you would do your slap. I'm exaggerating the movement, of course. I'm not going to play. The more arm movement you do when you play hand drums, the more tired you're going to get. So you want to try to keep your hands as close to the drum as possible. So I'm kind of exaggerating, but that's going to be the motion. Okay? So in the rhythm, back to the rhythm, okay? So now we're doing one and. Now we're going to do two slaps. Two and. Okay? One and. Okay? Let's try that together. Just that part. One and. Cool. Let's try it. Ready? One and. Good. Man, you guys sound good. One and. Okay? So remember, those of you out there, the count. One and, two and. One and. Nice. Let's do that together, okay? And we're going to keep on going. One and, two and. One and, two and. One and. Great job. Right. Let me see you do it by yourself, Joel. Good, good. Sounds good. Go ahead, Dylan. Nice. Milena. Nice. Now remember, okay, you guys have only been playing the drum for like maybe about 10, 15 minutes. I've been playing the drum for over 20 years. The sound is not going to be the same. It's going to develop over time, okay? The more work you put into it, the more response the drum, you're going to start noticing it's going to start getting more comfortable, okay? So the last sound, which I feel is the most important sound of the conga, is the open tone. It's the voice of the drum. It's what makes the melody of the drum. So whenever I describe a rhythm, if I'm like, man, Dylan, have you ever heard the rhythm of Wawanko? And Dylan is like, oh, no, I haven't. How does it go? And I go, boom, beam, beam, boom, boom, beam, beam, boom. Those are the open tones, right? So the open tone is what makes the conga drum sing, right? All that other stuff and the little muñequitos and all that stuff, those are all the filler things that kind of keep the rhythm, give it its flavor. But the open tone is really important. So when you play the open tone, you're going to play it with this part of your hand up. And it's going to be the same way as the slap. The only thing is you're not going to leave your hand on the drum. No other hand can be on the drum. And you have to allow the skin to vibrate so that that brightness of the drum comes out. You do not want to do this. That is a tone. It's called a muffled tone. And it sounds exactly what it sounds like. It's muffled, right? You do not want to do that. If you notice my hand, my wrist, nothing is moving, right? You want to be able to hit the open tone and try your best to bring your hand off of the skin so that the skin is vibrating. Go ahead.
With the muffle tone, when do you need to use that in like a song? Like what genre is that mainly used in?
Well, I've seen the muffled used a lot in all the genres. So depending on what you're playing on the conga, even on the pandero when you're playing. So let's just talk about it in reference to the conga. You would use it as fillers and in solo and in different places like that. So the muffled tone is another tone that you would use to kind of like add accents and flavors to the rhythm. So for instance, if I was playing a rhythm like, let's say the tres dos from rumba. I would add that as like a little accent. You see, so that's where you would kind of perfect that to kind of like throw that in there. And that's a great question. So now, I mean, now I feel like I got to do my YouTube research to make sure that I figure out other ways to use the muffle tone. So we are live. Forgot to turn off my cell phone. Okay, so let's get back into our rhythm, guys, okay? So now we're doing heel finger, slap, slap. Heel finger, open, open. So that's gonna be our rhythm, right? Heel finger, slap, slap. Then you're gonna do another heel finger, then, and that would be open tone. So remember that when you do the open tone, make sure that you're lifting your hand, that you're not, but that you're going, and that you're lifting it. And I'm kind of exaggerating. Remember, a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be doing is going to be a little more exaggerated so that way the viewers and you guys could kind of see. But when I play the open tone, I don't go and bring my hand all the way. That's wasted motion. You don't want to waste too much of your motion because this is a very body, grueling, and physical instrument. That's why I personally do not like to play congas in a band. I give a lot of credit to conga players in bands because you got to like really, you know, all the instruments are very, but congas, you gotta have some, you know, good physical strength and endurance to play it. Very fun instrument though. Okay, so now we got our whole rhythm, right? The tumbao. The count is gonna be heel, finger, slap, slap, or bass finger, slap, slap, bass finger, open, open, right? The count is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right. You guys ready to try that? Yeah? All right, let's try it together. I'm going to go really nice and slow. You guys at home, try to keep up your count. We're going to play it for a little while and just try to catch up with us and have that going, okay? Here we go. Tumba, Chano Pozo style. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Good. I hope you're keeping up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm gonna stop. I want you guys to keep on going. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So there you go. So now let's see. I'm gonna put one of our students on the spot. And let's see who can play it by themselves. I'm not gonna tell them who, I'm just gonna say the name. And Milena, by yourself. All right, everybody come back in. Let's try not to speed up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Good, keep on going, do not stop. Joey, by yourself, go. Yeah. Come back in. Bass, finger, slap, slap, bass, finger, open, open. All right, Dylan, by yourself. Yeah, let's keep on going. Okay, we're gonna get ready to stop. And good job. Give yourselves a hand, man. Awesome. Awesome. Good job. Good job. So that's the tumbao, Chano Pozo style. Okay? But we're not gonna stop there. I'm gonna look at our time to see how we're doing. Yes. Yes, we're doing great. We're doing great. So one thing I want to do is I want to play a game that I like to do with my students that's also a great exercise, and we're going to see how this works. It's called circle, okay? Going to do a quick example, just me and Joey, okay? I'll start. Ready? Great job. So basically it's a call and response, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in a circle. So what's gonna happen is Joey's gonna start, then I'm gonna do it, then Dylan's gonna do it, then Milena's gonna do it, and we're gonna see who messes up. Whoever messes up, you guys are banished from the live broadcast. I'm just joking, I'm just joking. All right, so here we go, let's try it. Go ahead, Joey. Go ahead, you start, and not too fast. Oh, not that slow. Come on, you could do a little faster than that. There you go. Oh, he's speeding it up. hold on, hold on. I think she missed it there. I think she missed it there. All right, let's keep on going. Let's keep on going. Go ahead. So you're out. So don't play this time, okay? Go ahead. Speed it up a little bit, Joey. Oh! Wah, wah, wah. All right. Me and you, Joey, ready? Go ahead. You start.
Trying to get my head into the game. All right. See if I can do this. All right.
Oh, I messed up. Yeah, I kind of did that on purpose, but that's okay. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make this transition. I hope you guys enjoyed that first section. That's the Chano Pozo style tumbao, which is a traditional Afro-Cuban rhythm and probably the most famous rhythm that's been used throughout all kinds of music outside of Afro-Cuban. So the Chano Pozo style tumbao. All right. So now let's go ahead and we're gonna make a transition and we're gonna go ahead and travel now to the island of Puerto Rico and study a little bit about one of my favorite genres and a genre that I learned here in this very place, and that's the genre of plena. So give us about 2 seconds and we're gonna make this quick transition, okay? Much for sticking around and hanging out with us today. We're here at the Segundo Ruiz Belvis Culture Center, and we just studied some great, a great rendition or a version of the tumbao. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna dive into a little bit of plena. So plena is one of the oldest genre of music that is in found in Puerto Rico. It is I guess the best way to kind of give people the understanding of the environment and what goes on in plena. It's a very much like a parade type music. It's a music that is done throughout the island. I'm very new to this music, but I've been very fortunate to be surrounded by a lot of elders and people who play this music and have taught me a lot of these different things that we're about to share with you today in regards to plena. So plena is from Puerto Rico. It is a genre that is played on pan drums that are called panderos or panderetas. It is it looks almost like a tambourine without jingles. So if you grew up Pentecostal and you had like these old tambourines with the skins and the jingles on them, is very much reminiscent of that, but it's a different kind of technique, totally different way of being played. So there's basically three sizes of panderos that are found in the genre of plena. You have the seguidor, you have the puntiador, and then you have the requinto. So the so what we're gonna start with first is going to be the seguidor, okay? And that's the drum that Joel is playing right now, okay? So the technique that goes for the seguidor, first of all, let's talk about how we hold the pandero. I'm using a LP practice drum just for the sake of teaching and resources, but because finding authentic panderos sometimes is really, really hard. The kids are holding authentic panderos that were handmade in Puerto Rico. So now the seguidor, which is the lowest tune drum, right? The lowest tune drum, and the word seguidor, the name seguidor, the root word in there is seguir, right? Which means to follow, right? So this drum plays a constant pattern that doesn't change. Another thing about plena is the time signature for plena is in 2/2 time. So we don't count it 1, 2, 3, 4. We count it 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. It's more like a cut time. Okay. So the pattern that Joel is going to be playing is counted like this: 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and the technique that I'm using right now is a more newer style where you're going to be using the whole hand to create that open tone, and the second tone on the end is more like a touch or a muff. It's not it's not a slap or a seco. It's just a muffled tone that's gonna kind of mute the skin as it's being hit. So we're not hitting the open tone and allowing that duration to go off. This is not what we want. We want it to be an open tone and then a muffled tone. Okay? Why don't you give that a shot, Joel? And you can hear how the way that Joel is playing that. Go ahead. A little hard. And the most important thing, like the same thing with the conga, is that we're driving out that open tone. Boom, 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 boom. This is one technique. Cool. Good job. Good job. So the other technique that you find in more older traditional plena playing is a technique that's used with your thumb. So what you're doing is you're hitting that same open tone and you're doing more like a fluid motion where it's going like the heel of your hand, then the tips of your fingers. Where the open tone is being made with your thumb, it's a little bit more difficult, and then you're just muting the skin with your fingers. So when it's played in its rhythmic pattern, it should sound like this. Okay, let's hear it on the seguidor. Hey, just do your best. You guys got to remember, these are students, and they're learning how to play this right now, right here. So go ahead. You're doing great. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just remember that it's going to be a wrist motion. Okay? And if that's not the one that you feel comfortable with, try the other one. If that's the one that you feel, a lot more pleneros are using that pattern more than the other because that amplifies the drum a lot more. So if that's the one you feel comfortable with, excellent. That sounds good. Seguidor. That sounds really good. Awesome. So now I want to go into the next pattern so that we could start kind of hearing the conversation that is happening between the panderos in plena. So the next pattern is going to be played by Malena. This pattern is called the Puntiado Pattern, okay? So the count for this pattern is going to be 1, 2, and 1, 2, and. And why do I say the count for this pattern? Because each one of these patterns has a certain count, and if you start to vocalize them and sing them, you got to remember, counting is your friend. So if I'm saying here 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and I'm saying it, eventually my body's going to react to that and it's going to start to play 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So for the puntiador, the count is 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 1, 2 and 1, 2 and there's a couple of different variations for this pattern, but this is the basic pattern. 1, 2 and 1, two, and man, you sound good. That's good. 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1, 2, and 1. Now, I don't want you to stop. Keep on counting. If you want to count out loud, you want to count in your head, that's fine. And that's a great pace. 1, 2, and. And remember that touch, 2, and 1, 2, and. Remember that touch is not a seco. It's not a slap. So you're not going. See, I like that it's just a touch to kill the vibration of the skin. You're focusing more on the open tone. 1. 1. Good. Keep that going. Do not stop. So now I'm going to bring Joel in with his part. 1. Ready? Go. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and boom. Boom. Now we're starting to hear a little bit of a conversation happening between these drums. Boom, 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 boom. See how it's going back and forth. And this is Plena from Puerto Rico. Boom, bing, boom, boom, bing, boom. Yeah. Feel free to hit it just a little bit harder so that we can really hear those open tones. And stop. Oh man, you guys are dope. I'm taking you on tour with me. All right. So the last drum is the most important drum. It's the drum that brings the alegría. It's the drum that's like singing and doing the improvisation. It's the requinto. And I have challenged Dylan with the requinto. The requinto is, even though it's an improvisational drum and it's the drum that's like following the singer, it kind of takes the same position that a bongo player would take in a salsa band, where it's playing different accents and different spacings within the estrofas, within the coro, and within the sections of the song, and kind of doing this ad-libbing and accenting with the singers. So there's many different patterns that the requinto can follow to kind of base its improvisation. This is going to be one of them, okay? Very good. So one thing that you're going to do a lot is you are still going to be using your left hand. So your left hand is going to kind of be your timekeeper. And then once you start getting used to that pattern, you could start grooving with it and then playing around with different combinations as long as you're resetting and going back to that pattern. So let's say if I go, nice. So then another combination could be, so I changed the spacing of the slaps. Instead of going and keeping them close, I did it more like maybe like a clave pattern, you know, like a. So you could change the spacing between those slaps to kind of give it a little bit of different accenting. So knowing that, let's try to see what we could do about putting all 3 panderos together. So normally all the panderos would start at the same time and we would just start playing. But for teaching purposes, we're gonna kind of layer them together, okay? So we're gonna start with the seguidor. Seguidor. Dale. El seguidor está sordo. Oh, there we go. I can hear it now. Keep that going. So now, Milena, I'm gonna play your pattern. You play with me. One. Keep it going. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. Listen to each other. Ooh, that sounds good. And stop. Oh my gosh. Man, we had some talented kids at the Segundo Ruiz Belvis Cultural Center, man. Really, really cool. So there's only one thing missing. There's only one thing missing. And this is another instrument that works really, really close with the requinto and with the seguidor to kind of bring alegría and timekeeping together, okay? And that instrument is the guiro, okay? Or the guicharo, okay? So in Puerto Rico, the guicharo is in the family of the guiro, and it's one of the oldest instruments that we know that came from our Taino ancestry, okay? And this is the timekeeper. A lot of times, the person who plays the guiro is the singer. Unfortunately, I am not a singer. I will play the guiro for now, and this is gonna be what's gonna keep our time. So whenever you hear the guiro or you hear a plena, a lot of times the singer starts and sets the tempo, and then the requinto does some type of call or llamada or some type of fill to bring in the rest of the band, okay? So this is gonna be our timekeeper. The pattern for the guiro, there's many, many different patterns. The basic pattern that I would like to teach is known as a semicochea, or a 16th note pattern. This is the way that pattern goes. Okay, so the way that that's played, okay, it's still in 2/2 time, okay. So the way that we're going to count it is going to be 1 E and A, 2 E and A, okay. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A. So we start it with a downstroke, and we leave the puya on the guiro. 1 E, 1 E is an upstroke. And then up comes off of the guiro. Let me show you. 1 E and That you have to make sure that it comes off the guiro, because then the next 2 is that firm downstroke. So that momentum that you're getting of pulling the guiro, and it's kind of exaggerated. I'm exaggerating the motion so that way you see it. Of pulling the puya off of the guiro is setting you up for the momentum of it coming down. Okay? Okay? So you see how like that chop, ba chop, ba chop, ba chop. That's what you want to get, okay? And it's gonna take time. Now, it's not merengue. It's not cumbia. It is not. I don't know if you can hear the difference between and. That doesn't mean that pattern doesn't fit. That doesn't mean that pattern cannot be played. But it's not the same. It's not quite the same. That's something else that we could talk about later on. But this is going to be the pattern that we're using for plena, the semicochea. Okay, so judging that I'm going to keep that timing for us, I want Joey to come in with the seguidor at that time. So you're going to be watching my downstroke. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and right. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Keep that motion. Go ahead.
I'm not sure if the viewers are hearing this, but I hear a little rattle coming out of that.
You're right, because what people don't know is that both of these are the instrument. Okay, so when you hear that puya, there's sound that's coming out of this instrument as well. So when I'm playing, it adds to that. Very good observation.
Well, I'm not saying that, but rattling inside the guitar.
Oh, yes. A lot of times too, when they make the guido and they fill them out, they leave some of those beans in there, or they clean them out and they don't all fall out. This is a marimba flute. It's a gourd that's found and dried. They hollow it out. Then once it's dried, somebody comes with a reciprocating saw and starts spending hours making those lines. Over time, once the fruit continues to dry, those beans and those seeds that are inside of the fruit start to fall, and you'll start to hear them almost become like a shaker. So those all contribute to the sound of the guido, where you're playing the guido and it contributes to the sound. Not much, it's more of this, but it does contribute to the sound.
With the beans in there, could you make it like a different instrument if you wanted to?
That's a good question. I don't know if anyone has made it a different instrument, but I'm sure.
Like a maraca?
I mean, depending on, I'm sure that this gourd would work well as a maraca. I'm sure, but I mean, if you notice that when I start playing, you depending on how much I decide to move this arm, you will hear it, And I'm sure, man, that if we look and we find there's some very skilled people out there that have videos and different things with different ways on how they've made this instrument work in different ways. So let's go ahead and try to play some plena, okay? So you're going to be following me. Your pattern, okay, is going to be next, and then you're going to be coming in last. We're going to try to see if we can execute some nice sounding plena, okay? So here we go. Shout out to Moon. I got that from Ife. Okay. So now, let's try to see what we could do about starting at the same time. We did it layered. Okay. Let's try to see what we could do about everybody starting at the same time. So I'm going to set your tempo, right? I'll play a little bit. Then I'll go 1, 2, ready, go. Bing, 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 bing. So you got to remember you're going 1, 2, and. Okay, so if I go 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, and okay. And then what's the most important tone, lady and gentlemen? Well, say it louder. Say it louder. The open tone. So something that has to happen is that you guys gotta project those open tones so that the conversation is being heard, right? So it's boom, bing, bing, boom, bing, bing, boom, boom, boom. But you're going every bing. See how loud he is? So if you can hear him and you can't hear you, there's a problem. If you could hear you and you can't hear him, there's a problem. Okay, so then you guys got to kind of like adjust each other's volumes.
We got a level.
Okay, so now when you're starting, how do you start your pattern? If you're going 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and ba, 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 you're starting off with that open tone. Ba, ba. Ah, there you go, there you go. Ready? Let's try to start together at the same time. I'm gonna set your tempo. Oh, something else that I want to add. Remember, this is dance music. This is party music. We tried doing this earlier, and it's not easy, but something that we tend to do with Los Pleneros de Don Segundo, shout out to all my brothers, right? We try to move when we play plena, right? Because we want to dance, we want to party, right? So when we do that, we're kind of creating our tempo and how our feel is. And it's difficult, right? We try doing it. You know, I bumped into Dylan a couple times. Hey, you were supposed to go. So what we're going to do is when we start, we're going to try our best. 1, 2, ready, go, boom. You're going to step to the right. And that's the way that we're going to kind of feel the rhythm. Because if I'm feeling the rhythm and I'm going like this, and I feel that automatic feel of me going like this, my body's kind of telling me where that tempo is. The minute my body starts going, and I start moving a little bit faster, that means I know that we're playing a little bit faster. So that's gonna kind of keep us into control with the rhythm, okay? So this is my tempo, okay? Try to see if you guys can step with me. Boom, 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 boom. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. We're gonna start at the same time. 1, 2, ready, go. And stop. Okay. That's okay. Let's take away the dancing part. But that's something that you guys could practice at home. So like if you're at home and it's like you wanna, practice doing this and doing the motion, go ahead.
Isn't there also, it could be a practice of like alternation, learning how to do other things while playing something?
Yes, that's a good point. Feel free to do this and move this way a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah, just like that. Dylan made a good point that it's a good way to learn that ambidexterity. Those people that want to learn how to play kit, if you notice, you gotta subdivide your body in 4 ways because you got to be able to learn how to do something with your right hand, something with your left hand, left foot, right foot, and being able to do this, play, and sing in plena is difficult, okay? So if you find that you're doing this and you're messing up in the rhythm, just stop moving and be like, okay, you know what? I need to focus on this because that's what's going to come out even more, not the fact that you're moving, but that the fact that the playing is not there. So until your body gets used to this, it might not get used to this. After a while, this is gonna become so systematic that you're gonna find yourself, oh wow, mira, I'm moving now. Now I'm dancing. And this is something that I've learned from my teachers is that this is a journey. This is not something that you do and it just happens automatically. It's something that it's a process. It's something that becomes a lifestyle. And once it becomes part of you, you just don't want to let it go. Okay? So let's try one more time, and let's see if we could give our audience a nice plena. Right? Okay, here we go. I'm gonna start the guido, then I'm gonna go 1, 2, ready, go. And I want to hear those open tones, nice and loud. Boom, 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 and really driving that rhythm. All right? Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Great job. Great job. Awesome job. Oh, so once again, thank you guys so much for joining us. I want to thank Joel. I want to thank Dylan. I want to thank Milena for all coming out and being part of this great Tuesday youth takeover. I want to thank Omar Torres. He has a few words that he wants to say, and I want to thank our audience for joining us. Omar.
It's my music theme mask. Well, I don't know what to say. I'm so proud of you guys. You really haven't been. This is like the first in-person class in the entire summer,
Yep.
and look at how far they've come after learning these rhythms virtually, and it's so difficult, and they've dedicated themselves to it. And when we invited them, program is over. So these guys said, no, we still want to join you for Teen Arts Tuesday. So just their disposition, their discipline, and your work, Michael, just so proud of you. So if you want to see more of this, and if you want your teens to be involved in these programs, you can contact us. Go to our page at srbcc.org, and you can find out more about our upcoming seasons with teens. These are paid apprenticeships that we are having here at Segundo Ruiz Belvis, thanks to the amazing support of After School Matters. I also want to invite you, because we're kind of taking over a bigger series that is presented by the Department of Cultural Affairs and Special Events, My Chai, My Future, and the Mayor's Initiative this year with the youth. And it's also the year of Chicago music, even with this big emergency that we're going through. But it's just a very important time for us to double down on the arts, because if anything we've learned from this emergency is that we can't live without the arts. And I want you to please go and support the initiatives of the Department of Cultural Affairs and Special Events. This is the year of Chicago music, and it's gonna be extended till 2021 because we weren't able to properly celebrate the year of Chicago music with this emergency that we're going through right now. So please go to our website, srbcc.org, find out more about what Segundo Ruiz Belvis Cultural Center does in the community, and definitely tune in next week when we're gonna have a very special trip, because Michael is also the director of Los Pleneros de Don Segundo, and they're going to be playing plena live, doing a full show here, but also with the teens. So we're going to have teens from our Afro-Caribbean percussion, Afro-Latin percussion, and Afro-Caribbean jazz programs. So that's going to be really exciting. And then on September 1st, we're going to have our closing of this mini takeover, Teen Arts Tuesday, and we're going to have a great jam session with all our former students and some of our advanced students that are playing with us right now. These are the only opportunities that we've had to get together, and we really appreciate the support of the parents for trusting us in this very difficult time, that we're going to do the right thing and do the social distancing and all the great things that we need to do to keep our teens safe and our professional musicians safe and keep them working. So thank you so much for being here. My name is Omar Torres Cortright. This is Segundo Ruiz Belvis Cultural Center, part of Teen Arts Tuesday. And I also want to thank my friends from Q4 Radio for all the great technical work that they're doing behind the scenes. Thank you very much. See you next week. Bye.